Hello, everyone. Welcome to UNCUT today. I'm very sure you're quite surprised to see these two people beside me. Well, we want to do UNCUT in a very different way today. I was thinking about this this morning, pardon me, and I was thinking about the fact that there's so many things that I want to say to business owners and career professionals, or those who are called to the ministry, and I realized that my notes are so full that we might not be able to cover all the things that I wanted to say. And so it just dawned on me that why not let's approach it using question and answers as opposed to me just teaching to just one subject or one topic. And that's the reason why, we have these two people beside me. So I have Busayo and I also have Bode beside me. Yeah, and so we will be having conversations. They would ask me questions on business, career. If they have questions on ministry as well, they would ask me. And that way, I think we'll be able to touch on so many things as opposed to me just teaching a topic. And I'm sure you will learn a whole lot from there. And let's see how far we can go. I'm trusting that the Lord will speak to us in a very unique and a very special way today. I'd like you to just give attention to this thing because I feel like question and answer, panel sessions are one of the most, powerful ways of learning, even though it might not just be what you are used to with the frame of your mind, with somebody standing and speaking to you, but it's very powerful if you pay attention to the questions and you give attention to the answers. And that way people are able to pull out deep things, from the body of truth that will be communicated to you. So let's get right into it as we begin to ask questions. So I don't know who wants to go first.
Ladies first.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, PS. Thank you so much for dedication and commitment to us, actually. All right. So the first question is, I have a nice. So, but I'm trying to put someone in that space. So for someone who has a 9-to-5 and also has a business. So we've been taught to give our all. For everyone who listens to the principles of work, to either the business you're doing or as a career professional. I want my business to be global because, of course, based on the teachings, as a career professional, I also want to rise to the top and not be a lazy. I want to be the biggest in my industry. How do I manage both? And I still give my all at the same time.
Wow, that's a very good question. There's a way you can manage both. Just be God. Try and be God. That's a very powerful question and that's impossible. You can't be God. Because if I listen to the question very well, you want to rise to the very top of your career and you want to also rise to the very top of your business. Now, there is a level and a measure through which you can do a business to a level while you're a career professional. So, for example, you have a business, you have a career, and you have a business by the side. Maybe not conflicting with your current job, but you have it by the side. It's growing. You have 3 staffs, you have 4 staffs, and you're focused on your career, and that's growing. But there comes a time where you want to take that business to a whole new level, because if you say you want that business to be, maybe number 1 in the industry, there comes a time you might have to leave your career to do that. Or you find someone that you trust, which is this is very rare, that you trust with all that you have to take that business over and keep growing that business. And then you are open enough to give that person a major stake in the business. Either you make the person a CEO, the person has equity in the business, the person has something like a stake in that business that makes the person feels that we both own this business. That person cannot just be a salary earner in that business. It's not going to work. That person must have a stake, as though we are building something here together. That way, when you trust that person and you know that person can represent as the CEO of the organization, can cut those deals out, can have those negotiations, can move around to make those things happen, then you can keep that person there and keep your career, keep going. That way, it's a win-win for you. You keep growing in your career to the top of your career, You have this business on the other side, who probably maybe you're on the board of advisory or something, or you're still even involved, but not as much as, because both of them, to get to a level of both, it requires a lot of work, a lot of attention. So it's very, very difficult for you to give that attention, duplicating that attention in two places. At a level, you can do it. At a level, you can have a job and still have a business by the side. But if I'm going to answer the question the way the question is asked me, is you want to take the two to the top level, then you have to, at some point, give up one to somebody that you can trust and somebody that you are willing to share something with that person. And then you guys can take it to the top together.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. So my question is on finances as a business owner or business. So you've already put structure in your business where you pay yourself salary and you pay tithe from that. And so it's regarding first fruit. How do you determine first fruit as a business? Then the second question is, how do you give sacrificially as a business owner from the business, not from your salary, without killing the business?
That's a very, very powerful kingdom question. Okay, let me speak first on the question of the first fruit. There are many things in the scriptures or let me put it this way. There are many things right now that a lot of people seem to be debating about. One of which is the concept of first fruit. One of which is the concept of tithing. And very soon, it would also be the free will offering. And the whole idea for the enemy and the Babylonian Empire is to attack any form of resources that goes to the work of God. Right? Now, let me say this here, and I want to say it in the way I practice mine. As a business owner, you run a business, and you are a Christian. There are certain covenants that you cut with the Lord where that business is concerned. Which is, you can decide, which I don't want to necessarily use the word first fruits. You can decide to say, in the beginning of the year, to start the business, we want to give all the income that comes into this business for the month of January. That's your own practice, covenanted practice. This is not wavering based on how you are feeling or how you are not feeling. Your business must have practices. For example, as a business, my business, there are things that are covenanted that we do in that business. Covenanted. Nothing shakes it. Why? Because no man receives anything except it comes from above. This is outside my salary. I earn a salary from the business. But this is outside my own salary. This is the business. Because the business is a living being. It's a living entity. Which leads to the second question on how to give sacrificially through the business without affecting the business. Now, you must know this, because the Bible says Christ is both the wisdom and the power of God. You must know this as a business owner, particularly if you have staffs, that God wants you to be responsible with the staffs, right? There will be good times, there will be down times. There might be times as a business owner where you might not be able to pay salaries, right? And there might be times you'll be able to pay salaries. As a business owner, one of the things you have to try and do is to prioritize your staffs. However, placing a demand of the principle of work on them. Because the truth of the matter is, like I said, and I've been saying again and again, when the chips are down, they will walk away. You'll be left with the business, right? So you have to place a demand on them. Now, if you are going to give sacrificially to the business, make sure that it is not anything that will completely collapse the business. Yeah. Make sure it's not anything that will completely collapse the business. For example, this is wisdom here. Only if you hear this expressly from God, that do it. then do it. The principle of whatsoever it tells you to do, do it. So for example, if you want to give sacrificially, so for example, your business has 10 million naira and you want to give 9 million naira, right? And you have a salary of 4 million naira. So if you give 9 million naira, you have only 1 million naira left. And you want to give this money at the 26th of the month. So you see that you have a 3 million deficit. How do you pay staffs? How do you run the business? How does the business keep buying fuel and generator and all of those things? The wisdom there is, okay, let's spread that 9 million naira into 3 or 4 months. You're still giving sacrificially, but it's just that you're not giving at once. But it's still sacrificial, right? So applying wisdom is very critical, so that in the quest of doing some things, you don't put yourself into shame as well, you know. Like I said, only if God tells you give it all, then give it all. But if you know that, then just break it down and all of that. So yeah, that's what I was saying.
Okay, so one more question. The question just dropped. So as a business owner as well, should CSR replace giving to your church?
That's a very powerful question. You're asking a very powerful question. Actually, if you look at it in the law of the land, right, they actually see church, like the law of Nigeria, the CAC sees the church as a charity organization. Even in the UK, it's charity. Or they see, in fact, in the UK, they call it charity commission. So, even though church is a spiritual institution, when we talk about the idea of charity, what comes to people's mind now, because of what we've been used to, is feeding the poor, helping the sick. But I think charity has gone beyond that. There is innovation. There is modeling, different kinds of things. Now, if you believe very much in the vision of your church, and your church has causes that you can connect with, and that the Lord has asked you to connect with, then why not do it through your church? Right? Now, if your church doesn't have that, just make sure that as a kingdom person, for you are finding ways to power kingdom agendas. Look for another, charity organization that is thinking in that manner, that is kingdom focused, and go, partner with them. This should not replace what you do for your local church. Your local church is where you are fed of the word, is where you are taught of the word. Many people do not know the power of a local church. That anyone who has access to your ears, Tuesdays, Thursdays sometimes, Fridays sometimes, Saturdays sometimes, Sundays sometimes, most times, shapes your formation of your life. And you want to be a part of, championing the gospel there. For me, I do charitable causes, but for me, it's the work of God. I put my all in the bank of heaven. Yeah, but I do some charity things personally as well. So your business can decide to do that as well. Nothing wrong with that.
All right, so for career professionals who are in a very demanding phase of their career, maybe in their organization or maybe as an individual, right? So maybe people doing MBAs or masters, they have to travel around, and maybe work is taking them all over the place. So they do not have time to come to church, to serve, to show up when necessary. So how do they blend this without losing touch with the things of the Spirit, without losing touch from the things that they get from the local church?
I think some people just want to lose touch already before the job came. Listen, I have certain beliefs about the ways of the Lord, and it's very scriptural. This is why, please listen to what I'm about to say now. The condition of your heart whenever you are asking God for a thing, will determine what you will do with that thing when it comes. Let me explain it. Anna already had a conditioning in her heart before Samuel came. So by the time Samuel was coming, she already knew the things she must do because of what she had already proposed in her heart before Samuel came. If you are asking God for a promotion at work, what are the conditions of your heart before that job came? That would determine what you would do with it after that job comes. Can I tell you something? As a pastor, I'm telling you the truth. Some people were better off until they got a job. In fact, I've met people who were never into alcohol, smoking, all of those vices, until they waited at home 3 years, then God gave them a breakthrough job, and that breakthrough job took them away from the ways of the Lord. So before I begin to explain this, the principle of the condition of your heart, before you ask God for anything that is major, make sure that you set a watch on your heart, so that when the thing lands, you condition it according to how He has given it to you and the premise upon which you asked God for that thing. Now, to answer the question, there would be people who, by the reason of the things that they do, they travel. I mean, I know people who, today they're in London, next tomorrow they're in Paris, next tomorrow. It's a very busy thing for them. You don't necessarily have to always be in church physically, but you have to stay connected to the local church that you are feeding primarily from. Either by listening to the messages, either on the plane. You have to create another system that is different from the system you have been used to replace the previous system, so that you are not missing any spiritual fluidity that is coming through the local church into your life. Now, by the reason of the work that you do, you might not have the time to be able to serve in church, maybe the ushering protocol and all of those things, but you can serve with your finances. You can serve with ideas. There are people who God has blessed and said, this church, can we pay for graphic designers? I want to pay for all the graphic designers for the church. I want to train people in data analysis because I know how to do it. So you are then using your skill set and your promotion. The law is that your promotion must be an altar of sacrifice and contribution to the work of God, not a promotion to get you so busy to the point where you are now above and aloof from what God is doing. That's a very powerful thing that you must bear in mind, because some people's promotion made them exalted them above the local church, and they didn't find a place. And then they say, oh, they should understand I'm busy now. They should understand I'm busy. Well, you should be busy. People should travel. You have to see, because we are not one of those people who will say, no, because that career is a medium God is also using, and you have to be responsible with it. Remember when I taught you guys that your career is a worship. So worship God with that career, but also know that you have a role and a place in contributing to what God is building, which is His local church as well.
Thank you, sir.
Another question?
So, talking about promotion now, how can a career professional make a demand for long overdue promotion and salary increase?
I like that. But you're HR too, so
yes.
How can we make, you should be telling us, how should we make a demand for salary increase? I'll say mine, then I'll hear your thoughts.
Okay, sir.
First and foremost, there are two categories of people that I believe are in any career. Number one is the people that your HR or your line manager is doing you. And number two is the group of people that you are doing yourself. So let me break it down. Number two is that you haven't contributed enough value to the organization. So, you don't even have the power to walk into any room because your justification is all based on sentiment. You cannot justify that promotion. So when you are going into that place, it's almost like an emotional conversation. I've been in this organization for 2 years. I've not been promoted. That's not why people are promoted. It's not sentiment. It's workings. And sometimes it's not just that you are walking, thinking you are walking. That's where a lot of career professional misses it. They think, but I'm putting in the work. I'm coming 9 a.m. I'm closing 6:30. In fact, I'm the last person to close here. Get it? The question is, sometimes your bosses don't know what you are doing. So they can't justify it. And the people that matters the most in the organization also, they don't know what you are doing. Why? Because you are eating. The boss has eaten you somewhere. Because he wants everybody to believe he's the one doing the work. So you don't also know how to lift up your own head. You don't know how to speak where it matters the most. You don't know how to get so busy, put in the work, that even your peers talks about you. Because in an organization, it's politics. You are in a political realm. So even there's a way that the applause of your colleagues at work would get to the years of management. You see, these things, ask Shola, he will know how to do that thing. Ask, who can do it? Ask this person. So you are plotting a graph. You're not just closing your eyes there. Because if you leave the decision to just one person to make, that person might want to be promoted, not you. And that person sometimes, some of these bosses, let me tell you the truth. Some of these bosses, when they come to an organization, please believe what I'm telling you. Particularly when they are new in an organization, they were coming from somewhere. Where they were coming from, particularly if it's a big organization, they were working with somebody there that they are already used to. Their plan in some cases is to poach that person with them, to bring that person there with them. They've promised that person a good life. You, everything you do will be wrong. So that they will frustrate you out and go and start looking for a job. So that they can bring somebody, say, I have somebody that can recommend somebody that will get in the job. So you two know how to play the politics. This is very important. Now, the part one side is that the boss doesn't just want you to do well. You've done well. The boss doesn't want you to do. So those kind of people, you wake up in the middle of the night. You know how we did praise worship last night? You just be singing. I know a God is full of mercy. Have you heard it sing that song? I will worship. You will just be singing. 1 hour, the angel of the Lord will appear. What needest thou? Just tell the Lord, take him to a place he knoweth not. Just take him to a place he knoweth not. He said, I have two things. The Lord gives you an opening in another place, or they take him to a place he knoweth not. The last thing I will say is that if you are assured that you are good and they just don't want to promote you, threaten with a resign. Sometimes it works. I've noticed that sometimes people don't know your value until you're about to walk out the door. When you say you're not doing again, they will now start. That money they didn't want to pay you before, they will now be offering it to you. So just throw it in. Be ready to drink the garri because you might be at home for 1 year or 6 months. But just throw it. If you know you are good, or go in and have tough conversations. Or what do you think?
Yes, sir, I agree with everything you said, actually.
So that's how to do it. Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
I think one more question on finances, and then I'll move on to other questions. So as a business owner, how do you handle season of financial downtime without panicking?
Now, those two words, they work together. Finances and panic. They are brothers and sisters. They live in the same house. I think it's almost impossible. Why? I'm explaining it this way. Why? Because you're in that business for profitability. You want to make profit. And if you go 1 month, 2 months, and you are not making profit, you begin to feel a certain way. And particularly if you're the owner of the business, there will be pressure that will come. You have bills to pay, you have family to take care of, you have so many things in your hands that you're trying to do, right? So how do you deal with that kind of a season? The truth of the matter is, I think everyone at some point is dealing with that kind of season, depending on where they are. Even people who have 500 billion in their bank accounts, they are probably taking on projects on that level. And that already puts them under pressure. And people who have just 20K, they are doing projects on that level as well. That already puts them on a level of a pressure. So, this is the principle that I always try to use, and I can just share this principle, is the principle of Joseph. 7 years of plenty, 7 years of harvest. Whenever there is plenty, know that a famine might come. 7 years of plenty, 7 years of famine, pardon me. Whenever there is plenty, know that a famine might come. When that plenty comes, take that plenty, because businesses too must learn how to save. You must know how to apportion certain things somewhere. It's not everything that we eat. You keep those money somewhere for the days where you know that famine is going to come. Because famine might come. The challenge with business is that you are almost at the mercy of people's desire to purchase from you or to get something from you. It's like like a messy business. That's why with business, this month you can make 50 million, and next 3 months you can make zero, nothing. And so it's the 50 million you made 3 months ago that you are using to manage yourself for the next 3 months. So when that plenty comes, what do you do with that plenty? You have to keep that plenty. Remember that I said that until you get to a level, you can't start doing some things for yourself. You get to a level of stability. I think this is what kills many businesses, where they say that, small businesses don't last 1 year or 2 years, is because when the income starts to come in, they begin to feel like they need an upgrade. They want to buy a new car, buy new wigs, buy new shoe. They lie about it and say it's CEO branding, but it's just them trying to get a desire, like compensating themselves for the hard work. A time is coming where you're going to compensate yourself. But don't forget that principle of 7 years of plenty, 7 years of famine. Now, if the famine has met you where you are, it means who has blown you. What you then do is you go through it. There's nothing, you just go through it. And you'll be humble. You'll be humble. You just be humble. Just be playing old worship songs. Oh, sing, oh, sing. Oh, just be singing it. Praise. Oh, just stay. Sometimes it lasts 1 month. Sometimes it lasts 2 months. Sometimes it lasts 3 months. Sometimes it lasts 4 months. I think what that thing does is that it is used to test the strength of your belief in that job or that business. It tests the strength of your belief that I believe anything that will make you stay after that downtime season, 6 months, 1 year, and you still stayed on that thing, the earth will eventually respond to you after some time, because your conviction is so strengthened that this thing will work out. And let me just say this here. People who don't do business don't know this. Career professionals particularly, pardon me please, that business, especially if you do business in Nigeria or anywhere in the world, we have to celebrate entrepreneurs. Celebrate entrepreneurs. Nigeria provides nothing. No lights, no gen, nothing. So you are building your own ecosystem by yourself. So sometimes you get into all manner of things you didn't plan for. Why? Because particularly in Nigeria, it's already a system that is disorganized. For example, if you say, now, you gave somebody a printing job to do. This person is printing in the middle of the night. There was light. Made no plans for gen. And then power grid just went off. Boom. And you live in a country where power grid can go off for 2 days. Or more. Now the person is supposed to deliver. Now the contract has gone. The person has collected 5 million naira, giving his wife 1 million naira. The balance is 7 million naira. Now he cannot do anything anymore. Now the people that he gave jobs to said, I'm not going to pay anymore. So now the person is now in debt. Those people are going to look for somebody else to do the job. The person is in debt. So if you are not willing to start entering into problem, don't touch entrepreneurship. If you don't like problem, like you don't like your heart to be going up and going down, you just want it easy, just be collecting that 500K in career or 1 million, keep growing in it. But with business, there are going to be challenges. It's a rough path. You can release a product that you think will do so well, and nobody's interested. And the one you think the people don't want, that's what the people want. So it's a very interesting part that, you have to be strengthened. That's why I always advise people who are just getting married and the husband is a entrepreneur, is an entrepreneur, the wife too is an entrepreneur. If both of you are entrepreneurs and you're about to get married, you have to be very wise. Because if you are married and a career professional, one person is a career professional, one person is an entrepreneur, at least that person who is a career professional, you know that at the end of the month, the salary can take care of both of you. If both of you are entrepreneurs, you have to sit down and submit your finances with each other and plan it. If not, you might both enter into the same season at the same time. With 3 months notice coming from anybody. So how do you manage that? So usually what I advise some people, when it gets too deep like that, one person should go and look for a job. Christ is both the wisdom and the power of God. One person should look for a job so that at least an income is coming in. Because, it frustrates families after some time, and balance it very well. So that's what I'll say.
Thank you, sir. Another question, sir. Yesterday, I'm not sure if it was yesterday or maybe the day before, where you spoke about learning from your competitors. How do you learn from your competitors without copying them, or do you have to copy them?
Let me speak on that. Can I assure everybody that everybody copies? Now, you see, when we talk about originality or the word innovation, innovation is almost like cracking what exists into what looks new. Nothing in itself is actually new. The only new thing was what God created, Genesis 1. And from what was created in Genesis 1, every one of us took fabrics from what was created from Genesis 1. Nothing in itself is actually new. So, if you see Chevrolet make a car, Toyota makes another car. Toyota will do the car's head like this. Then Mazda will do the car head like this. It's just like divergent, just altering it a little bit to create an originality that speaks to your own DNA and your own templates. That's it. So, in fact, sometimes the biggest inspiration that you get to introduce innovation, you saw it from somewhere. That's why you have things like Pinterest. That's why you watch movies. That's why you watch productions. You watch all of those things. Why? It helps or updates, how you see things. So there's nothing wrong observing what your competitor is doing and seeing how to now add originality to your own to make it look good.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So, since we are all copying each other, can you please speak on maybe the power of moving fast? So, because I think if we're copying each other, then who gets into the market with that thing first?
Oh yeah.
So can you speak on that, sir?
That's a very powerful question. Very powerful question. I have to use this opportunity to say this because the Holy Ghost just put it in my spirit. Thank you, Lord. When the new started then, the previous tenure, 3 days, the next Sunday after the new, the third Sunday, we did our first service. I shared this story before. On Thursday night, the Lord put it in my heart that we should do Oriki. Thursday. This was on Sunday service was coming. So I called one of our pastors. I said, this is what the Lord has put in my heart. Let's get flyers. So we started. I did everything that we could do. We did the rehearsals. We did everything. I worked it. There's a law that is what we call the accountable and the responsible. The accountable is different from the responsible. I can be accountable for something, but I'm not responsible for it. For example, in the heavens of the heavens, I'm accountable that we do these 21 days of faith. But I'm not responsible to doing the setup for it. But in the heavens of the heavens, if they want to ask questions, the Bible will say to the angel of the churches, not to the angels of the churches. The angel is one person there. So the letter that is written is to the angel of the church. That tells me that the accountability is me. I would be the one to give the account to ensure that all the system in the church is at work to do that 21 days. So I took on that accountability role and I ensured that we did that event that day. This was one of the things that opened up the new. I'm saying this because the Lord told me, that's why I have to say, that there are things we're going to do in this new the new that we might not have planned. And we might be hearing it for the first time a day too. Well, that might be what will change the thing around. Now, if it's now too much, then there's a problem. Are you following what I'm saying? Yes. But we're going to have those things. This leads me to the question that you've asked. You see, there is the law of the first entrance. Sometimes you have to enter in while trying to get it right. Not getting it right, they enter in. This thing is a window. In the realms of spirit, everything is naked and bare. The way ideas, let me teach you something. Have you observed this mysterious thing that happens? That you are singing a song in your heart, and somebody beside you is singing the same song outside. You've seen that thing happen? And you're thinking, what was going on? It's like the thing dropped, and both of you picked it. As that experience is for you, so it is where ideas are concerned. That's how ideas drops. Is the first person. That's why you look at the person and say, why are you singing the song I'm singing in my heart? Why are you copying me? You were singing to your heart. Me, I'm saying it outside. We were both saying it. But one person was already saying it outside. Another person was keeping it up. If they want to say who sang it first, is the person that said it outside. That's how it is with ideas. It's the person that does it first that we will know. And that's why when you want to do it first thing first, enter, put out the flyer, put out the marketing, let people know you have started. Then go on the inside and be working it out. That's the way to get this thing done. If you wait till you have everything sorted, you will find out that, because some people say, I'll wait, I'll look at how other people are doing it, then I'll modify it. That sometimes works, but not in all cases. It only works when you have money. The people that wait like that are the people that have the serious cash to bamboozle everybody in that business. And that's why you see that there are some people, when you just start like that and you're already gaining traction, the people that have serious cash, all they can do is to come and offer you money to see if they can buy the business off you.
Thank you, sir.
How can creatives doing 9 to 5 make good money?
That's a very good question. Creatives doing 9 to 5 make good money. You have to constantly increase your capacity to be different. Your value must be, you have to be adding on new knowledge so that you are almost indispensable. So, for example, if you're a graphic designer and you're doing a 9 to 5, can you add motion graphics to it? It's not that you draw a bed, but the bed is looking like beans. It's looking like ram. It's valuable. You are adding that craft. You must put structure to that craft. One of the things that I've seen with creatives is that once we hear that word creative now, it's almost synonymous to scatterhead. A creative. So when you say I'm a creative, what you're trying to say invariably is that I'm a scatterhead. And you see it, it's like people now take pride in that thing. God, I'm a creative. And sometimes it's them trying to tell you that you have to excuse every bad behavior, everything that I've done wrong. If I forgot to call you, I'm a creative. There's a lot on my mind. If I did not get the job done the time I needed to do it, as a creative, the way we think, we work on inspiration. Go and fact check every creative person that has become an executive. Not just the people that are collecting money from under. That is, you became an executive. I don't want to mention names, but there are people that have risen to the point of becoming an executive. They were doing creativity with structure. They had a system of structure in their life. It's not just that I'm just creative scatterhead. It's when I feel something. No, they structured that thing out in a very interesting way. They partnered the two. Let me tell you something. It was one of the things that helped our business. Because of the way I think. I'm not I have people who help me in terms of structures and all of those things. I might not be the best person in that designing organogram, designing structures and all of those things. But how to package yourself that you are not just seen as a creative person with a scattered head, but you can have creative inspiration. Look, that production we did yesterday, I got to church around 7 o'clock. Right, you were there. That was when we were discussing what we were going to do. What you saw yesterday. At 5 o'clock, I called PL. I said, okay, this is my teaching, my line of teaching. Then we did a brainstorm for about 30 minutes on the phone. I said, okay, we'll do it like this, do it like this. So I talked to this person. Just bring, when we met, we said, okay, everybody, where are you? You were there when I said, okay, let's use a table. No, okay, we'll use this chair. Let's use 3 chairs. And PL said, okay, we'll do it. And we just combined everything together. With no rehearsal, nothing was done for that, Everything was explained to everybody there, in that place. It's not scatterhead. It's not just flow. It's just, are you getting what I'm saying? You package yourself. I'm talking to those who don't want to just serve and be collecting 200K for the rest of their life, but with a badge of creativity. So that's why they say creative people they don't have money, because they think creativity means scatterhead. No. For you to become an executive, you must begin to add structure to it. Marry creativity and structure. You will see what's going to begin to happen to you.
Thank you, sir. So picking up on what you just said right now about creatives not having money. So for creatives, not people doing 9 to 5 right now, but how can a creative, what are the practical steps on making money as a creative?
That's a very powerful question. If you're a creative and you are making money, number 1 rule of the earth is that nobody owes you to give you money. In commerce and the law of economics, it is exchange of value. If you don't have value to match the kinds of money that you want, you would only make money on a level. Honestly, this is my biggest advice for every creative. Go and double your value. Look, if you rest only on the strength of inspiration, you will never become the master of that art. If you rest only on the strength of inspiration, in other words, when I think I will get the idea, if that's all, you have not created a system on how to keep chunking out newness. Because people only pay for value. People are not paying for sentiment. People are not paying you because they call you creative. People are not paying you because you can draw or you can design a fine cloth. People are paying you for that fine cloth on how that fine cloth makes them feel. That's one. So your value system must go to another level. Number 2, I want to say this. Most creative people, because of how they are, like I said earlier, they believe that once I'm creative, I can just do anyhow. So they don't even understand the power of relationship. You call a creative person, they don't pick your calls. They return back 3 days' time without any excuse. Say, now that time I was going through a lot of things. I was just trying to know what to do what I was going to do to deliver that thing to you. So, and they expect that you understand why, because we are a creative person. So now people who are not even creative are hiding under the umbrella of creativity to misbehave. Creativity is not an excuse for misbehavior. Because you are not more creative than God. But even when God, this is a very powerful principle. When God created the whole world and, imputed creativity, we saw the beauty of creativity, the birds of the air, the firmament, the seas, the plants, man. We saw creativity in Genesis chapter 1. But look at what God did. He put systems that creativity that he has portrayed out becomes a loop that can keep going by itself. He didn't have to create another thing again. He created a loop. Which brings me to the third thing. Structure. Any creative person that wants to have money and is not thinking structures, either you don't know how to do it yourself, or you have to find collaborations, partners, people who can collaborate with you to bring in structures into that business. It's very important. And you know how to manage relationships. Know how to manage relationships. Know how to talk to people. Know how to show up to people. Creative people, they can just walk out of the door. They don't understand the games of life. They don't know how life plays out. Unknown to you that the person that's going to judge your matter in the next 4 years is somebody you just stormed away from. Just believe that everything just like, that frivolous way of doing creativity. That's not creativity. That's being a nuisance. Creativity is order, innovation. It's a mixture of order, innovation, ideation, structure, and relationships. That right there is the beauty of creativity. Because you see, everything we look at today, and we give a round of applause for that, wow, look at that level of creativity. It had all these 5 components.
Thank you, sir.
Once they can do that, and they are not shy about money, and they know how to collect money, charge money, they really know how to do that one. And let me say one other thing. Any creative person that does not like them to critique the person's work, you can't go above where you currently are. Creative people will be arguing with you. Like they'll be arguing with a client, this is the cloth I want. So this is best for you. I say, this is what I want. You say, no, you don't know. This is how we do this. So when they are telling people, you can't be arguing. That's the person paying you salary. That's the person putting, So you have to be ready to take feedback. It's like the moment you become a creative person, you and feedback, you are fighting. You don't want any feedback whatsoever. Let me tell you the truth. I personally think that in our generation, a lot of creative people, they might look back and regret that they were framing themselves as just a creative. Because go and fact check everybody who is in the creative field that eats the lion's share. I'm not just talking about somebody who calls you, come and do this work. They give you 10K, they give you 30K. Is that what you want to do till you are 80? Let me say something to you. You have opened a dam of conversation because I said I'm going to do some trainings for creative people. Go and fact check what I'm saying. Let me talk about musicians. How many instrumentalists do you know? I'm not talking about producer. Instrumentalists. Drummers. Do you know that they term themselves as creative people? That sing, that they play around for music ministers or even gospel, Christian, whatever, secular. How many of them do you know that can afford to buy a house by themselves? How many of them do you know? But when they start playing that keyboard or that, they'll be calling them OG. OG. They will press the tum, 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 tum. They are too good. The guest artist is the one collecting the money. They will give them some shares, but that one is creating a system, because that one has a record label or a system of structure around them, a management around them, structuring the thing for them. And they forgot that they will be jumping up and down, singing, the ministry, doing all those things, not knowing that a time is coming, another OG is rising. That you that they are calling OG today, you are so good in tumba drumming, you've forgotten that another boy is rising tomorrow. And people move on. Go and listen, there are some artists that are still reigning today. The producers that produce them, you don't know their name anymore. Because some of those artists, that's why you have to know how to negotiate. I really need to do some things. Some of those artists, it's not that they sang another song that blew, but the royalty of one song that they sang 10 years ago that blew, they are still eating profits with today. You now did song, you do not collect credit rights, you do not collect royalty, you do not do anything, you are just there. Because your own is just give me money to eat now. What's the next show? You see, what you lack in knowledge, you will pay as pain. And it's not the earth that cheated you, it's your foolishness that cost you. A lot of creative people, I will open creative school very soon. Fusion Center is starting. I will be taking course for creatives. Come and take my course. I will charge you, but I will be, because people, when I say some creatives, I'm just be laughing. The tiers they are playing with is Premium Pro Max. Babala Premium Pro Max tiers. What? The tiers in the next 15, 20 years, you will be bewildered. 5 years, Abi. I mean, even in 15 years I gave was too much then. 5 years. The bragging that we are creative people, they think that creative is just to sleep at home and wake up. Many creative people think that once I have the time in my hand, then I'm a creative person. What are you trading with? What structures are you putting in place? What school are you going to learn? You are called a creative person and you've not added management. Go to Lagos Business School. Why am I calling Lagos Business School now since yesterday? Go to Harvard Business School. Go to Yale Business School. Go to all these schools. Go and get certification. Add to it. And know how to balance yourself well. So that, let me say another thing. I love creative people, so you see that I really talk with so much passion. When they make money, they squander it on lifestyle. That's all of a sudden, a ring will be sweeting them to where? That's all of a sudden, the glasses that they don't, they believe that once they elevate their lifestyle, they get more respect. That's not how usually a business owner, an entrepreneur thinks. Entrepreneur is thinking, how do I put the money back into the business to make more money? Creative is thinking, how do I show class that I'm also doing well in the creative space? So you have to be thinking profitability. You have to be going to banks to find out what programs do they have, what things do they have, what mutual funds exist that you can put in your money there. So much to say. I will do a special creative class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So my next question is, as a business owner, how do you remain or stay dogged and ruthless without sentiment? And then the part B of the question is, how long should you wait with an underperforming staff? Let me even just say this. Maybe the person is your church member. Let's just say the person is a church member. Like, how do you, regarding fire, when you need to fire, like, how do you make that decision to fire instantly without sentiment?
That's good question. Let me use Jonathan, for example, in the Bible. Jonathan's death is one of the most painful deaths in the Bible. Painful death. You know why? Jonathan knew that the Lord had rejected his father. In fact, Jonathan gave David cue that Saul wanted to kill him. Threw an arrow and said, if somebody comes, then know that my father wants to kill you, so run. The Bible says their souls were knitted together. You knew that God had left your father. When your father was going to war, what were you doing with him? What's that called? Sentiments. Now they killed you. You knew this thing. Why didn't you hide with David? Anyway, he said, you are the Lord's anointed. We know, according to pattern, you can't die anyhow. So let me be following you anywhere you are going. No? That's what you should have done. Anywhere David is going, just be with him. He would have become the second man in David's army. All this Shamgar and all these people that we're talking about. Jonathan would have become a captain in Israel. We'll be hearing his name. But by sentiments, he wanted to put one leg here, he wanted to put another leg here. It doesn't work that way. Any decision you don't make, any top decision you can't make for your business, irrespective of who that person is, will come back and cost that business. Guess what? That church member you are afraid of, we find another job. Let me assure you something. They can't be with you forever. There is no staff. They won't be with you forever. So you will tell this church member, we both trust God together. We can't work together. Easy peasy. Fire the staff. No sentiment. Your boat will just wreck if you use sentiments because you know the person. Now, the approach on how you do it will now be different because the person is a church member. You might take them to dinner. If you have money for that one shower, you can sit with them and just talk about church. Say, what do you think about that Babylon message that PS preached the other day? You know, just be talking about Babylon. Say, this Babylon. And no, just use message that you know that they said that we are sent. And the way we do our things, we have to be sent. So therefore, it's looking like me and you, we are no longer sent. Let the person go. And if you have an HR department, use the HR system to let them go. Very easy. Next question.
Okay, so speaking about honoring people.
Sorry, let me say something. Please, I need to say this. Let me say this, everyone. Just because somebody is a church member doesn't mean you should excuse bad behavior. If you order something from a church member and they did it wrongly, first time, you give them feedback. They do it second time. Don't buy again. Don't be sentimental. If you now have desire to add one more time, say, why are you doing this? You see, some people, the only way they will learn is when there is a boycott of their good and service. Say, I'm not buying again. After you have called them, say, this thing, you didn't do it well now. I'm telling you the honest truth. Give good service. Don't let us use community to hide bad behavior. Because you are not helping that person. And knowing fully well that that person is not only that community the person is serving. So you are also training, because one of the things they will ask sometimes, what church do you attend? If you do bad service. Somebody can say, I've been in places before, I walked in. It's one of the joy that I've had. Maybe I go into a place, meet a top CEO, and the CEO said that, one of your members attend my church. My goodness, one of my best staffs. It gladdens my heart. It's not that they ask you, what did they say? Say, Dinu. Say, Pastor, you don't know. That's the pastor of Dinu. They are now running. I'm now running. I can't enter into a place because of the bad behavior you did. No. Collective home training, Amen. So let's give people good feedback. And let me just say something. when people do services for you, give feedback to them, good or bad. Don't hide it.
All right, so for career professionals working in a very structured environment, and they want to apply wisdom because their boss is very important, but they don't want to be hidden. But in that structured environment,
You don't want to what?
hidden. So in a structured environment, everything goes through the chain of command and all. So how can that career professional come out to be known?
To be known.
Yes.
Okay, so that the boss doesn't hide them.
So everything goes through the boss, the meetings and everything. She just back whatever back there.
That's a very powerful question. This is what I think. Remember that when Daniel in Babylon, the king gave a decree that anyone who cannot interpret this dream, go and kill all of them. And Daniel now had this opportunity to go before the king. They'll give us some time. We'll go before the Lord and find out this thing, then come back. What am I trying to say? Excuse me. The moment of opportunity will show up. It might be that the day comes where the boss will be sick, and you are the one that will have to hold the organization or that department for a period of time. You see, that day when it comes, you have to project your work in such a way that like the top will know that somebody did the work. A day will come. And if that day is not coming, pray for that day to come. An event would arise. That is, when Joseph is in the prison, an event will arise in the house of Pharaoh that will ask for an interpretation. When it comes, they will realize that the chief butler and all these people that I kept as astrologers and Chaldeans around me, they didn't even know anything. This was the person that was doing the work. That thing will always come. It's now left for you to identify that thing. Pray for it to come. Look out for it to come. So that the day the opportunity... Let me tell you something, my dear. What happens when that thing comes is that people who are, particularly Christians, they are too quiet to say it. So the day is around. The head of the organization is around. The CEO is around. The presentation is going on. You have an idea that will make you outstanding, but you didn't say it. You stood there. Because of the fact that you are respectful, you kept quiet. The meeting is over. Everybody's deliberating. Then you went to tell your boss, this is what could have done. And you were not there when the boss went back to tell them. And they said, wow, how come you came up with this idea? The opportunity came, but you missed it. So you look out for opportunities. That's the way to trade back with them.
All right, so following question. So for career professional, was doing well in Nigeria, now relocated to maybe anywhere, UK, America and all that. And we've been hearing the teaching of not just traveling abroad to waste away. So how can a career professional start right from to be exceptional or to position properly as a career professional and not just do random
I
stuff?
want everybody who is online and who is physically present to listen to what I'm about to say. Now, if I decide to relocate today, I want to tell you what I would do. If I decide this morning now that I want to leave Nigeria, number one, I would go and read the sociology of the nation I'm going to. The Bible says the labor of the fool weary them, for they do not know how to enter into the city. See, there are places you enter through that it makes it easy for you. I'll go and study the sociology. How do they think? How do they see things? What is their culture like? What is their dressing like? How do they speak? How are they respected? How do people view them? Go and read the sociology of that country. Number two, you can find this thing online. It's on Google. Go and read the psychology of the people in that place. Their thinking pattern. Number three, When you enter, the first 1 month that you enter, the first set of people that you begin to talk to will determine your future in that place. If you start talking to people that are grasshoppers, that is, the land has consumed them, the advice you'll be hearing is just go and be washing plates. Just go and be doing this one. Oh, in this place is tough. This country is tough. But when you start hearing advice from people that say, we conquered it in 2 months. We have bought houses. We have done this one. When the things you hear will now determine what you are beginning to. So you are going to look at who by the reason of use has exercised their senses. In other words, these ones, it says, you follow those who through faith and patience has obtained promise. So you will look out for those who have obtained some promise. Look out for those who have obtained promise. Let me tell you something. When I was done with school, I went to see a pastor. I will never forget this. The man sat me down. He asked me a very simple question. He said, and I want you to listen to this because you have pulled out something very deep in my spirit. I said, sir, I just moved to Lagos, but I don't know what to do. He asked me a question. He said, when you were on campus, what were the things you did to make money? I looked, I said, my dad always gave me money. But I remember that my sister went to London one time. She came back and she brought some T-shirts for me. And I took those T-shirts and I sold them. And I made money from them. He said, how did people buy it from you? I said, it moved very fast. He said, so that means that people like what you wear? I said, yes. He said, it means that when they see you, they give you compliments about what you wear? I said, yes. He said, go and do it again. Let me tell you what I'm saying here. When you enter into a new land, don't ignore the patterns of God in your life. Go back and sit down and begin to look at the patterns of God in your life. How did you fight the bear? How did you fight the lion? Very likely that's how you are going to fight Goliath. Go and look at the patterns of God in your life. Go and backtrack those things and look at it. I say, very good. I've seen something here. So you will see that you met some relationships before you left. And by the reason of those relationships, God blew you up to another level before you went to another country. You will begin to see that very likely God will make you meet some relationships as well. So you'll be looking out for them. Or you started something, and you get what I'm saying? Go and observe the patterns of God in your life. Now, as a career professional, you have to now go and understand how to rise in their own place. What are the certifications I need to take? Which level do I need to start from? Which organization should I take their job? That's how you now go. But you need to add humility and patience. Because if you have to go and start all over again from ground zero, even if you are head of marketing before you were where you were in Nigeria, and you have to start as marketing officer, because you know you need to rise, you go and take that job. And in some cases, you have to insist that you want it on a level. That would determine a lot based on the people that are talking to you. And then you see yourself rising again in that organization. Let's take one more.
Can I ask two, sir? So the first one is regarding business perception. Like, as a business owner, how do you build perception in the sense that so people don't come and meet you with jobs below you? But
with what?
With jobs below you. But at the same time, they say don't reject money. So how do you balance it? Should I second?
No, I think that concept of don't reject money is debatable. If somebody comes and tells you to come and take a 2,000 naira job now, for example, and that 2,000 naira job is going to take 10 hours of your time, will you reject it? So did you reject money? You have to put it side by side your time. Every profit must be weighed by the time that is allocated to it. Because you're in that business to make money. And money is time. Time is money. So if I'm going to input 15 hours of my time to make something that doesn't even pay everybody in the organization, it's a waste of time now. So you reject the money. Now, as a wise person, you must also look at the person who is giving you that job and the potential inside that money. If the potential is at that 2,000 naira, maybe they want to use to test you, and the job is like 30 billion, but they just want to test somebody that can do something for them, and you see that there's a chain here that can open up something. Collect it all. Are you following what I'm saying here? This is where wisdom is applicable. Yeah.
The last question is for me is, I know during this serpent and dove teaching, I think you spoke about trading in Babylon and then not doing, because to get some kind of numbers, you need to, and not doing what they do. So as a business owner, like, because there's one Yoruba proverb that if you use something to, like, I don't know how to say it, like, use something to, like, around your nose so that you don't get into it. How do you do it as a business owner?
Explain that question again. Like, are you talking about not giving bribe, not settling people?
So, for instance, let me use myself as an example. So, because I sell cars to quite a number of high-end guys, and then sometimes you have to go and meet them in the club, because that's where they're doing it. And then because you're in that space, sometimes it's just like what was happening yesterday in the dramas, where that it was saying, "Oh, come and drink," and then Daniel was saying I wasn't going to drink. But sometimes if you've been in that space for too long, if you're not conscious, sometimes you can find yourself taking a sip.
Yeah.
And then from taking a sip. Yeah. So I'm just asking generally.
That's a very, very good question. Very powerful question. You know that when I started, this is for me. When I became pastor, I didn't want people to know in my business that I was a pastor. I hid it for a long time. Even till now, some of my colleagues don't know, my clients don't know. And the reason why I did that was because I felt that it was going to be a disadvantage to me because of the line of job that I'm doing. And because some of them in that industry, it is settlement, they just feel like, well, this one is a pastor, Jared. I beg, we won't give him the job. This one will not be able to take care of us. So I saw some of those body language. But I realized eventually that if your work is good, people don't mind doing, people can go and meet Ifa priests to buy food from them if the food is sweet. Because even the food you are ordering from, you don't know who is selling it to you. You are just eating it. So, I realized that one of the most powerful things that you need to start doing, or I needed to start doing, was forget the title and project your value. After some time, they will start calling you pastor. They'll start calling you pastor. You will start hearing things like, yeah, that one, they do all these kinds of things. Just come. But it doesn't mean you can't go and... So you know where you are. It's not you that you just left a particular... God just delivered you from a kind of sin. Then now they come and meet me in the club. Then you now go and meet them there. If you are still dealing with something big, just beg and say, sir, I want to beg you. So honestly, if I come, I don't know what will happen. Beg them, they'll be laughing. But if you know you have the capacity, because some of these people, they won't do deals, it's night. The truth of the matter is some of the biggest deals happen in the middle of the night, or in the night. And you cannot say that because me, I'm in Zion, I don't want to. No, you take your light there, but you have to know yourself. This is where we tell people, know yourself, be true to thyself. If you know you are going to misbehave in that place, don't go there. You will be worse off because they will laugh at you and your God eventually. Say, look at this person. So don't touch it. Just leave it. But if you know that, just go there for the time. And you have to now, by boldness and confidence, even if you are there, you have to start saying things ahead. Say, bros, say me, I know they do all these things. Say me, I know they do. They come to, they go church now. You have to let them feel like this one, leave this person alone. You have to say some things intentionally to them so that they put you at bay and just put you to just do the business that they want to do with you. But you also have to be very, very, very careful so that they don't trap you. Yeah, because people like that want to trap you into things. They just want to do some things and they just trap you. And you have to be very, very observant. Depending on the kind of person you are, because they can take pictures in that place now and post you and say, you can't explain that you were not there. You can't explain that you were not there. You know, and all of that. I remember one day, I was in Ghana. I went to preach or something? One of the two, I can't quite remember. So, in the night, the driver who was with me, we're going back to the hotel. Yes. So I didn't like the food in the hotel, right? Because I'd eaten that food, eating wake or something like that. So I was very tired. So we're going back in the night, and I saw one restaurant where they were selling like catfish, you know, and all of that. So I just said, let me come down. So the driver came down. Very nice place, and all of that. As soon as I came, you know, down, I sat down, I ordered the catfish. I told them to do it for me and take away because I didn't want to sit down there to eat. As they were doing it for me, take away, I just saw one guy walked in. I said, Pst.Shola Okodugha. I heard this Ghanaian. I said, Pastor, I know you from Nigeria. The moment he said that, I said, my God, what's in front of me? I was looking at my table. That I hope nobody put any contraband on my table. Because that one can take picture with me now and post it and say, Pastor caught in the, you know what I'm saying? So you have to be very conscious as well. Very, very conscious. When you go to a place, you are observing, you are looking, because you don't know how that can spin out. Particularly for you, who you are, you know. So, that's it.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so very much, sir.
All right, God bless you, everyone. I see it was very rich because we asked questions. And so maybe tomorrow as well, we'll do questions again tomorrow. God bless you, everyone. Have a very good week. Bye.